and welcome to St. Elizabeth East. My name is Latrina Owens, and I'm the Executive Director for the St. Elizabeth Redevelopment within the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development. Today is a big day for us as we kick off Ward 8 Day by breaking ground on a major project that will continue the transformation of this site into a phenomenal place to live, work, and play. Whitman-Walker marks our first tenant at St. Elizabeth East. And it's just the latest way we, under the dynamic leadership of Mayor Muriel Bowser, are ensuring that Congress Heights has all of the amenities and resources needed to thrive. I am so proud to be adding Whitman-Walker to the campus and can't wait until we get to open its doors and begin thoughtfully serving neighbors from all walks of life. Before I bring up our next speaker, I would like to thank our DemPed team, our attorneys, Mark Alberta and Aisha Abbasi, and also our Development Manager, James Parks. Now, please join me in welcoming our next speaker, who is no stranger to Whitman-Walker or Ward 8, the Ward 8 community, Mr. Wayne Copeland.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Wayne Copeland, and it's a long story. I couldn't tell it all, but I'm not a saint, but I've been a part of Whitman-Walker 30 years, and they really changed my life, And it was a lady, Miss Rochelle Toya, she was with C. Sosa. And she came 16th and Good Old Road and told me to get in the car, told me I looked out of place. Why are you still hanging around these people? And she said, just get in the car. You want some help, you got to ask for it, And I got in the car and I went with her. And I got some help, And I met I met so many people I couldn't even start to say, but I asked for a little help and I got some help. They had a psychiatrist, I wasn't doing a good job of running my own life. About to lose my house, my car, my wife, And I was a zero, but now I'm a hero, She told me, one more time, and I did something, I listened to somebody, I listened to my family. I'm the father, uncle, brother, husband I should be. I'm the best neighbor you could have. I live right one block away on 14th and Congress Place, and I don't know, everything's not like it's supposed to be, but we working on it, Because y'all know, like I know, we in trouble. We in trouble. Republicans, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth. We in trouble. Thank you, the mayor, for the bill they trying to work on, all the bills they're working on. Thank you. Because we need help, We need a lot of help. And I'm not going to be before you long, but Whitman-Walker, I can't even, there's so many people, I don't have to name no names, but I try to be a helping hand wherever I can, When I could sit in Giant, I used to give a meeting in Giant every day. I had a club on Good Hope Road. The Homeland Security closed me down because they wanted the building. Now we're on the corner of Anger Place. And I don't know, but there's so many people. It's going to be a blessing just to walk here to Whitman-Walker. But if you need a check, if something going wrong in your life, we got bread for the city, but Whitman-Walker, the public benefits team, the lawyers, they going to help you. Somewhere to live, they going to help you. And I'm glad to be a part of Whitman-Walker. And with no longer ado, I'd like to introduce Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's give a big thank you to Mr. Copeland for his testimony. I appreciate that because somebody heard you this morning and is also going to make the decision to get in the car or stop by and get some help. And there is help to be had. And I don't see any saints in here, Mr. Copeland, and we're all deserving of second chances, third chances to turn everything around. And I know that this government is in the business of making sure that we can do all that we can do for residents in all 8 wards, wherever they are, whatever they need to thrive and to succeed. And we are grateful for decades of Whitman-Walker's help in our community. So let's give a hand for Whitman-Walker. I am so grateful to D.C. residents and businesses, D.C. government employees, for their outstanding work and sacrifice during our response to COVID-19. So thank you, everybody, for all that you have done. And I want to especially thank Whitman-Walker and our organizations like Whitman-Walker who are on the front lines, showing up every day in person, making sure that people got tested, got connected to resources, and are getting vaccinated. And that is the critical role that our health providers play, our community health providers especially, because like Mr. Copeland said, Whitman-Walker has long relationships and experiences with our community members. And our community members trust their doctors and providers that they've trusted for years and years. And you will hear me say this often, and I know Councilmember Gray agrees. We invest so much in making sure that Washingtonians are healthy. And now we have to make sure that all of those investments turn into better outcomes for everyone. We want people who live in Ward 8 to be able to live as long as people in Ward 3. We want people in Ward 8 to have access to great food, specialists, quality health care. We want to keep you out of the hospital, but if you need to go to the hospital, we want you to have a new hospital, and you're going to have one right here at St. Elizabeth's. It's difficult to state how important Whitman-Walker has been to D.C. residents. You've been a part of the community for almost 50 years, and you've always been on the front line fighting against HIV and AIDS. And in fact, if you were working, just a few weeks ago, we were with Dr. Fauci and celebrating all that he has done, and certainly all that you have done to keep D.C. residents healthy and alive. And as you have grown and expanded in D.C., you've always prioritized the needs of the community. And because of that, Whitman-Walker has earned the trust of D.C. residents. And we can't wait to welcome you to the St. Elizabeth's campus. There is a lot of good stuff happening here. In fact, when I drove in this morning, Councilmember White, I just couldn't have been more thrilled about the level of activity. And what I saw was people working. What I saw was housing going up. And I could see now, maybe even for the first time, what a completed St. Elizabeth's campus is going to feel like and look like and mean to the residents of Ward 8 and all Washingtonians. We were excited, of course, to announce that Whitman-Walker was going to come, in addition to the entertainment and sports arena that we built here in the heart of Ward 8, in addition to the full-service hospital that's on the way, and the new townhomes. That's just a sampling of everything that's coming right here. We're also pleased to be the future home of the new Congress Heights Library right here that will replace the temporary library at Parklands Turner. So I want to thank and congratulate everyone. I want to acknowledge our director here, Latrina Owens, and the entire DMPED team for being on the ground, being my eyes and ears, and making sure that we are delivering the way that we are supposed to. I want to acknowledge all our community members who are here, our ANC members. Give them a big round of applause because they have been working hand in hand with us as well. So now I want and have the pleasure of introducing our council members who have been just as focused on this development as we have and are bringing valuable voice to the needs that we continue to have. That's my way of saying that they're making sure that we have the budget that we need to get this done. They have my budget right now, and we're going to make sure that happens. Let me start with our host Councilmember Trayon White.
Good morning. Good morning. First, I want to thank our Mayor Bowser, for her leadership, because I believe that everything rises and falls on leadership. And I want to thank the DMPED Deputy Mayor John Felchecchio, also Katrina Owens, for your leadership. I see you walking the property every day, working to ensure that we get what we need right here in the Great Ward. Give her a round of applause. I also want to acknowledge my council colleague, Councilmember Vincent Gray, who's been committed to health equity in Washington, D.C. prior to me, even back when you were at the Covenant House here in Ward 8. So we appreciate your leadership. Also, Dr. Nesbitt is here as well. Give him a round of applause as well. And so this is the beginning of a long friendship and relationship with the Whitman-Walker Clinic, who's historically known for their fight. And I remember Whitman-Walker Clinic way back when they were fighting against the HIV/AIDS epidemic that crippled Washington, D.C. and had an adverse effect. And I began to look at their website and know they have an office on K Street. They have a youth service center. They have the Max Robinson Center on MLK. And so they've expanded their services here throughout the district to have a footprint. And then I went to their flyer, right? And I began to do some research just by sitting in the chair right there, to be honest. and I look at they have a research team, a legal services team. They have an advocacy team, behavioral health specialists. And I just look at if you look at it, you'll see for yourself that they are not just about healthcare here in Ward 8, but expanding in many advocacy areas throughout the district to ensure that we have not just healthcare, but equity in healthcare. And I know Mayor Bowser is committed to that, even beyond this particular site here, St. Elizabeth East. And I know today, when we leave here, we were traveling down the road to another groundbreaking today. And so we are committed to equity in this ward, and it's the beginning of a long friendship for those residents who are in their houses right now and throughout the district don't know this is happening, that we're going to provide quality services and health care here, not just in Ward 8, but in east of the Anacostia River. So I want to thank you all for coming, and I look forward to the work that's going to be done here on St. Louis East Campus. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Council Member. And it is true, we're going to be celebrating the first ever TIF awarded in Ward 8 and a transformative development in Anacostia when we leave Congress Heights. It now brings me pleasure to introduce Councilmember Vincent Gray, who chairs the Council's Committee on Health and has been pretty singularly focused on making sure we get a new hospital and has represented many years of his work and attention. You may have noticed that we have submitted plans that they are, in those plans show what the hospital is going to look like, that all of the milestones that we set out, we're tracking to open a new hospital here very shortly. So with that, let me introduce Councilmember Gray.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you so much for such a nice introduction, and thank you for being here with us as we make further progress with health care, especially on the grounds of St. Elizabeth. So let me say good morning to everybody who has joined us. At this point, this was really, I guess I'd say appropriately so, a long-awaited groundbreaking for the Whitman-Walker complex here on the grounds of St. Elizabeth. And Trayon, thank you so much for the work that you do. It's great to work with you as my colleague in Ward 8. I am in Ward 7, and we're working together on so many important things to be able to move us along further. So thank you so much for the work that you do. How about a big hand for Councilmember White? The Whitman-Walker Clinic has been, what I think anyway, is a premier healthcare organization, especially for the LGBTQ community right here in the District of Columbia. They've been doing this for decades, since the former founding board member, the late, who was one of my colleagues also on the council, Jim Graham, who was I guess the founding president in 1981, April 1981, and before even it operated as it did then in the basement of the Georgetown Lutheran Church, which in fact launched the efforts of Whitman-Walker here in the city. I'm delighted. Absolutely delighted that we're bringing some of those same services now to Ward 7, which will follow on the heels of the Max Robinson Clinic just down here on Martin Luther King Avenue, which I think speaks volumes about the quality of the programs and healthcare services that they provide to the most vulnerable populations here in the District of Columbia. In addition to thanking the current leadership, I want to also say thanks to Don Blanchard. Don has been a longtime friend, and what a wonderful professional he has been to bring the vision and the leadership that's necessary to be able to move forward with this wonderful project here on the grounds of St. Elizabeth. I'm delighted to have worked with the team that he has assembled there, and also the current administration at Whitman-Walker. It is a legendary organization. It has won so many plaudits around the world, actually, for the services that it's provided here in the District of Columbia. We know that there are lots of health disparities in Ward 7 and Ward 8, and we've had something that we're going to, Mayor, we're working on resolving, right? And that is the failing hospital that we've had in Ward 7 and 8. And we know that hospital, the United Medical Center, has outlived its usefulness to the public here in Ward 8 and in Ward 7. They worked with us during this pandemic that we've now worked hard to overcome. I am proud to be able to say that, along with others, we've been relentless in pursuit of the building, not just of a new hospital, but an entire comprehensive health care system for the people of Ward 7 and the people of Ward 8. I have actually am proud to be a staunch advocate for ensuring that the most vulnerable residents that we have, certainly on the east end of the city, east of the river, are served as effectively as we possibly can. I want to mention, too, that during the fiscal year 22 budget cycle, I've been fully supportive of the continued capital funding, 3.6587, a lot of money, to build a comprehensive healthcare system on the east end of the city. And that will include a new hospital, it will include a new ambulatory care pavilion, and also the Whitman-Walker services that will be forthcoming and will be a partner to what we're trying to do here as we move forward. Most importantly, I'm pleased to be here with you today, every one of you, to be able to break ground on this new healthcare complex, which will expand access to quality care for district residents as well. Specifically, it will serve wards 8 and ward 7, and I'm especially pleased for the pieces that we're putting together to be able to move forward. So, once again, I'm delighted to be here. I want to thank you all very much for joining us today. Thank you again, Mayor, for the work that you're doing, and we will look forward to being here for not just the groundbreaking, but the ribbon cutting. All right. Thank you all very much, Mayor.
Okay, so now we're going to hear from other important members of the team pushing forward. Deputy Mayor John Falchicchio. Then we're going to hear from Whitman-Walker and Red Brick, and then we will turn some dirt. John.
Nassim and Louie, come on up here. Come on up. I want them up here because really once we leave here today, they have to do the work. Important to have him. I'm John Falchicchio. I serve as Mayor Bowser's deputy mayor for planning and economic development. First off, when it's all been said, what do you say? You say thank you. So thank you to the community who's opened their arms to everything that we're doing here on the campus, led by Latrina Owens and with the help of Sarosha Otwadwala and the folks that Latrina mentioned earlier. We're able to keep winning on this campus. So Mayor Bowser talked about it. The first element that was added to the campus was the entertainment sports arena, home of the world champion, Washington Mystics. So St. Elizabeth's is winning. Then the next thing we did, which was really important, was we actually added housing back to the campus so that you see 252 units of housing. And then we'll follow it up with about 88, Latrina tells me, 88 townhomes, which are home ownership opportunities right here in Ward 8. St. Elizabeth, we're winning. We're also going to make sure that those who need us the most, men who are experiencing homelessness, have a new shelter to call a place where they can stay and get right. And that's the 801 East Shelter. That's being rebuilt right now. We're also building, with all these people now coming to the campus, a new parking garage, 750 spaces to service the entertainment sports arena and the rest of the campus. That means we're winning, right? And then, of course, the mayor just mentioned a brand new library right here on the campus of St. Elizabeth's. And that all is important because it's going to be adjacent to the brand new hospital, which is also something I know Councilmember White and Councilmember Gray are really proud of, along with Mayor Bowser. All of that is going to be right here on the campus. Now, you don't have to get up from your seat, but just to take a little tour, there's going to be new entrances to the campus. So the fence that used to be here, you see a fence, that wrought iron fence there behind you, that's all going to come down. We want this to be integrated with the community. This is the community space, so there should be no fences around it, and we're going to make sure that these are only construction fences now, that they come down and the campus is open to the community. So that's really important. We're here for Whitman-Walker and the groundbreaking for this office building. This is actually the first office building with a private tenant where we're breaking ground post-pandemic, right? So think about that. We're right here in Ward 8. This is where our comeback is starting, right? And I say our first office building with a private tenant because we had the groundbreaking in Ward 7 for our first office building with a government tenant, DGS, which is going to have its headquarters in Northeast Heights. Our second groundbreaking of a government tenant, I hope everybody's following along, I know this is a lot, is actually going to be DC Health at Reunion Square. And that agency, as you may know, is led by Dr. LaQuandra Nesbitt, who's joined us today. Let's give her a round of applause. And a reminder that there's a Jeep behind you. Again, the tour continues. There's a Jeep behind you. If you haven't been vaccinated, you get vaccinated today at the Rise Center and be entered to win that Jeep that you see behind you. So all of that is to say there is a lot happening in St. Elizabeth, in Ward 8, and here on the East End, as Mayor Gray says. And so really what we want to do is make sure that we keep it going. And so Whitman-Walker is going to be here. They're going to have their headquarters here. They're going to make sure that they have primary, behavioral, dental, substance misuse treatment services, all being expanded right here on the campus, which we know we are proud that they are calling it home. And so with that, I want to thank Don as well, who's been quietly in the background prodding, pushing, and making sure that we all stay true to our commitment to one another, and we see through on this project. So with that, I want to thank Red Brick, I want to thank Greg Cardona, Davis Construction, and of course Whitman-Walker. And to talk to us a little bit more about Whitman-Walker and their presence here is the CEO, Naseema Safi, who's going to talk to us a little bit about what this means for Whitman-Walker.
Good morning, everyone. So wonderful to be here with you. I am Naseema Shafi. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Whitman-Walker Health. And on behalf of our Board of Directors, many of whom are here with us today, my colleague Don Blanchon, and the volunteers and staff of Whitman-Walker, I'm so grateful to be in this moment with you today in this heat. Whitman-Walker has been on more than a decades-long journey to expand care to our neighbors in Ward 8. And to extend our services to more people in the District of Columbia as a whole. Our successes at our Northwest sites have been guiding lights for us to envision what we can deliver here in Congress Heights. The Max Robinson Center has been a primary healthcare home for thousands of people over the years in Anacostia, and this new site will give us the opportunity to welcome that even further. We're humbled by the support of the mayor and her team, DC Council members, and other government officials. We're so grateful for our partners at Red Brick and our design team, Perkins & Will and Integral, for all of their work in the past 2 years, but there's more to come. Please stay with us in this journey because great spaces are just one component to high-quality care and to addressing the needs of our community. What's really necessary is the community, the staff, the patients, the volunteers, and the donors and neighbors who will truly bring life to the space. We see you and we need you. At Whitman-Walker, we are focused on advancing care, advocacy, and research, and we believe in the fundamentals of human interaction, dignity, respect, and love. We can't wait to see you at our ribbon cutting in 2023. Thank you so much. And now to Louie.
What partners we all have. Let's do a round of applause for the district, their vision, the work and our partners, Whitman-Walker, all the professionals. I mean, it's really, it's humbling. Use the word humbling. I'm Louis Dubin, managing partner at Red Brick LMD. I am honored to be with all of you today and the community members and neighbors in Congress Heights to celebrate this major milestone, the groundbreaking of Whitman-Walker's Health's Max Robinson Center at St. Elizabeth's East. Usually at the end, I thank everyone, but it really did take a village for all of this. I'm going to thank everyone right up front because this is collaborative and a lot of people. Mayor Bowser, thank you for your vision. Councilmember White, Councilmember Gray, I remember the original RFP on this. Thank you for your vision and your partnership on all of this. Deputy Mayor Falchecchio, thank you. Sarosh Abdawala, head of real estate for the district, really our partner on the district side with your very unbelievable lieutenants. Latrina Owens, thank you. James Parks, I think he's the longest standing member of this team. James, and I think this was his first job right out of school from Rutgers at 23 years old, and I asked him today 7 years in this position, really supporting St. Elizabeth. So real round of applause for everybody. A few more mentions. I want to thank all of the ANC HC commissioners and especially ANC HC Chair Salim Adofo's leadership. I want to thank Don and Nasima for their vision, their partnership, Monica Ray. I'd like to thank Michael Winstanley, who heads the architectural firm Winstanley and Partners, for the beautiful design. And we really got a Class A building here. Jim Davis of Davis Construction's here. Thank you, Jim, for your leadership and what you're going to build for us. I want to thank our financial partners at Truist, one of the largest banks and institutions in our region. Thank you for your commitment to this project. Our partners, Cragg Cardona Partners, Vance Cragg's here. Little wave, Vance. And in the interest of time, we didn't have everybody up here, but also my partners and our own Red Brick development and construction team who've worked so diligently to get us to this moment. Just a few short words, then we eat. I think we have half smoked today. So 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and we eat. Actually, we have a little bit of dirt move, and then we eat. Groundbreakings are about new beginnings. Of course, they're most often about the start of new construction. But when we break ground, we also bring something new to our communities. We innovate, and we envision great change. And we celebrate the kind of partnerships that make this great change possible. This groundbreaking for Whitman-Walker's new Max Robinson Center represents it all. Because on this spot, we can see into the future. We foresee the kind of place where lives are improved, and thank you for your testimony earlier, where lives are enriched and where lives are saved. This groundbreaking also opens an exciting new chapter in the story of how the St. Elizabeth's East Campus is growing and changing and coming of age. We're laying the foundation for more than walls. In fact, we're laying the groundwork for new bridges. Bridges that gives me great pride to say will bring one of the region's most innovative and compassionate healthcare providers to the campus and to Southeast DC. I and my associates at Red Brick LMD are extremely proud of this endeavor. This space is about more than a building. It's the realization of a bold vision to bring quality healthcare and economic vitality to this wonderful community. This space will also serve as the headquarters of the Whitman-Walker Institute. Most importantly, this space will serve as a hallmark for equitable development and partnership. The development partnership of Whitman-Walker, Red Brick, LMD, Cragg Cardona Partners, the district and Ward 8 community is also building new apartments and townhomes that are affordable to people at various income levels. A quick shout out, any of you that are looking for a beautiful new home to buy, the townhouse office is open down the street. We are overstaffed today. Please go down there. And 30% of those units are affordable units with very generous support from the district as well. So I encourage you to walk about a block and a half. So I'm sorry, I have to do this little marketing pitch. 88 for-sale townhomes, 27 affordable, rest are market. All these investments generated in large part by Whitman-Walker's history-making legacy will create an engine of economic development and a milestone for Southeast Rising. Thank you so very much for being here today, and of course, this is Washington in the summer. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Louie. So I'm going to invite the mayor and Dr. Nesbitt up, take a few questions from the press and the community. Also, some more of the tour. So when you look at these buildings on this side, everybody sees these buildings. These buildings are actually going to come down to make way for our new town center, which is going to be a mix of office, residential, possibly even hotel, as well as retail to serve the community. And what I really want to see is some food access points there as well. Speaking of food access points, good segue, for this Saturday at the Horse Barn. Everybody know where the Horse Barn is on the north end of the campus? We are going to have a farmer's market. We're going to have a farmer's market this Saturday that'll extend throughout the summer. So we want to see you there on Saturday between 10 and 2. 10 and 2, is that right? 10 and 2, brought to you by Soul of the City. So we're really excited about the farmer's market. What's that? All right.
Well, thank you. Thank you to all of our speakers, and we'll take a few questions. Any questions? Press questions first. Yes, Mark?
When will this be slated to open?
Whitman-Walker opening 23? 23.
And can anybody tell us what's going to happen to the current Max Robinson Center? Will that be closing, and when would that be closing?
Let me ask the president, the CEO, Seppi, to come up.
The services at the Bax Robinson Center site will move to our new facility when we open around the first quarter of 2023, and the board of directors will make a determination about the use of that building.
And then maybe you're best to answer this question. Can you just kind of quickly summarize what services will be provided here when this opens?
I can. It's not a quick summary because we do so much, but I'm going to tell you what we do. We do comprehensive primary care, which includes HIV care, care for transgender people, LGBT health care. We will have limited radiology in this building, which will be an expansion for us. We do behavioral health care services, which include individual group psychotherapy. We have psychiatry, nursing, public benefits, legal services, dental, nutrition, outreach, and community health. Pharmacy, and we'll have a pharmacy on the ground floor. Now they're just shouting things at me.
Yes, Mayor or Dr. Nesbitt. One quick question. I know our readers of the Washington Blade, of course, are very happy about this project.
Good.
But one question some may be asking is that there appears to have been a change in the city's AIDS office in leadership. Some thought it might have been a shakeup, and some might just simply be asking, will the supportive policies that have been going on in the past in the leadership of that office still continue, including for this project?
Oh, of course. And so I will ask Dr. Nesbitt to talk about that administration.
Sure, thank you. So your question, Lou, is in regards to the HIV, AIDS, hepatitis, STD, and TB administration within the D.C. Department of Health. We had the opportunity to really be introspective and to look at how all of our programs and services are functioning through the D.C. Department of Health on a regular and routine basis. Transitions are always hard, always very difficult for people, for our community partners, because we don't just have jobs, we build relationships in our roles, and people begin to have a level of trust in us that we will do what we said we will do. D.C. has made tremendous progress in recent years in the fight against HIV in terms of ending the epidemic, and we're committed to continue to make progress in new and innovative ways, and really collaborating and leveraging all of our partnerships that we have with healthcare providers, with community-based organizations, social service organizations, and our partners throughout the region, because we know so many people, whether they're status neutral, meaning they're HIV negative or they're HIV positive, rely on services in the metropolitan region. So our commitment is steadfast, and we look forward to continuing to do the hard work of ending the epidemic. Thank you.
All right, any other press questions?
Hi.
Hi.
There's been a slight uptick in the coronavirus case rate in D.C. Do you see cause for concern, and how many of the positive tests are being sequenced to see if they are the Delta variant?
Well, we continue to encourage everybody in D.C. to get vaccinated. We've done very well with our vaccinations, though we have work to do. So we are out on the streets every single day, knocking on doors, letting people know about free, safe vaccines that they can get close to home. So we continue to remind our folks to do that. We look across the country, of course, and across the world and see places where they haven't been as successful with vaccination, and that causes us some concern as our whole country is opening up and people are traveling. So we're telling our residents the best way to protect yourselves is to get vaccinated. We're also encouraged that our surrounding jurisdictions in the DMV have experienced as much success with vaccination as we have. So we feel pretty good about where we are in the city. Yet we know that the virus is still out there in the world. So we will continue to monitor it very closely, and if we have some concerns, we'll report that. Your question about sequencing, I'm going to ask Dr. Nesbitt to address.
Sure. Thank you for the question. Our public health laboratory has the ability to sequence nearly 100 specimens every week. So for the past several weeks, that would have been every positive test on a weekly basis that occurred in the District of Columbia. There are some limitations in terms of the quality of a specimen and its ability to be sequenced. There's something called cycle times, which I know some people have looked into, because I've gotten emails about what cycle times we have for all of the testing that's happening in D.C. So it has to have the right cycle time. The specimen cannot be older than 2 weeks. And it must be a PCR test. So when you have an antigen test, which most people currently think of as a rapid test, that cannot be sequenced. So we vary from week to week in terms of the number of specimens that we are able to sequence because they meet that criteria.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, everybody. And if we can have all the speaking participants join us for the groundbreaking.
Pull it back, right? Yep. Excuse me, Mayor. Yes. Thank you. I think that's everybody. See? It's going good. Hey, yeah, I think that's one. Yeah. Okay, there you go.